accolades in the music industry is quite distinguished. This industry heavyweight is regarded as one of the most successful artist managers in dancehall. Robert Livingston is the CEO of Big Yard Music Group. He's an artist manager and producer. He has worked with musical greats such as Dennis Brown and Gregory Isaacs, and is credited as one of the writers for Shaggy's Boombastic and Maxi Priest's That Girl, a collaboration with Shaggy. Today we journey with Robert Livingston on the road to success. Robert, welcome to IRE FM, and thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to share your journey with us. We truly appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me. And I enjoy doing this because people really support me and give me a lot of support over the years. So I really like to share some of my journey with them.
Absolutely. And for persons who are watching us online, you are seeing Robert Livingston's background. You're seeing all his accolades, his plaques and everything. And might I add, you're looking rather dapper. I know I'm just seeing your face and your shirt, but you look good.
Thank you. Yourself always looking good too and sounding good.
All right. Thank you so much. But let us start off, with your foundation. How would you describe growing up in Kingston, Jamaica?
I could say that growing up with friends and family, I get a really solid, foundation. And in the streets, most of my friends was in different things. So I get to see both sides, the good, bad, and the ugly. You know what I mean? So it was a real round off way of growing up for me. So I could say that was a university that I couldn't go to or experience in any other way more than Kingston.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was really a rough part and good part. So you see a lot of things that different people doing different things. It's so many things to see and learn from. It was great being in Kingston, seeing how the thing was done.
Share with us a lesson or a moment from your childhood that has, helped to shape the man that you are today.
I kind of see where a lot of, families was trying to make ends meet, trying to grow the kids, go to school, trying to figure out what they want to do. So I was trying to pay attention to people who become very successful. How did they do it? From an early childhood, I'm trying to pay attention to people who trying to do things and get things done the right way. So that's helped me a lot, keep my focus. Of course, I derailed my purpose for a minute, but I didn't take long to catch up. You know what I mean? Because it was like easy to catch up because there's people there, a role model, people there was showing you what to do. And those days, how the elders grow up. It takes a whole village to grow a child. And you can't do nothing wrong in front of some people. They just mold you. Nowadays, you can't talk to nobody. But those days, you can't do nothing wrong in front of elders. You get a conch in your head or something. So it was really good for me. And it helped me to mold me who I am today.
And like you mentioned earlier, you grew up around seeing the good, the bad, and the ugly. Can you remember what it was that actually, pushed you towards the music? How was that musical interest, developed?
Well, a lot of my friends, of course, was, we all was doing things that we wasn't supposed to be doing. And some of my friends was getting shot, getting killed. Different things would start happening around us. And at that time, I was still, be friends with most of the people in the music industry. So I had a chart that I could look and I make a decision what I want to do, where I go from there. So that's what I did. I just decided, you know what, I'm not going to go down the wrong path. I got to make a decision and do something with my life.
Mm. And so how did you get into, selling records? What pushed you in that direction?
I actually was a close friend of mine, Junior Delgado, who is an artist in the music business. And, we grew up closely to each other. We was actually spending a lot of time together. And, you know, we actually live in the same area for a while in Duane Park, where you have China Smith, Heptones, Dennis Brown, Sly Dunbar, Jonah Delgado, myself. We're all living in the same area. So in the daytime, we're downtown. In the night, we come uptown. You know, because those days was uptown. We all moved from downtown and living uptown. I have a residence uptown. So being around them, going to the studio with them, you know, I had many experience. Of course, Jonah Delgado and Dennis Brown was really close. And Gregory, you know, Bunny Wheelers. We was always hanging out at downtown Orange Street and 125th Orange Street, cash and carry. So we was always there, you know, hanging out, looking at the music industry, going to studio with them. So I wasn't really actually doing anything special. I was just there trying to make sure everything goes right with everyone and whatever I could do to help to make sure things work. You know, Trevor Douglas, who the nickname Lego, was the person who in charge of the store. He was the actual person that actually keep us in line every day. So myself, Courtney Jackson, Danny Webster, a lot of us was just there working in the shop, doing different things. I was in and out because I was doing other things, but you know, that's where I get my foundation. That's where I actually get to realize that this thing is something that I really need to do. I get support from Gregory. I think Gregory has saw my potential. So he's kind of lean onto me and start showing me different things. And, you know, I hang out with him a lot.
And as you mentioned, Gregory, I read that, you know, at the age of 19, you went on your first tour with Gregory Isaacs and Clint Eastwood. How significant was this experience to your journey?
Yeah, well, that's something that I will never forget, because actually I started building my database from that time, meeting people, see how the world works, production, sound, how the musician and behave. You know, there's so much things there to see and learn. A lot of my friends was more into girls and taking part in other things. I was more focused on, you know,
business.
The interest of the business. Gregory, we did something like 16 shows. And each one of those shows was such a different experience with the audience. I mean, Gregory sold out 2 nights in the Rainbow Arena in London. And being that part of that show, such a magnitude, the show is so big, you said, wow. For me, this is my first tour, this experience. I can't turn back. I have to go forward. I have to make this happen and be a part of this industry. So for me, that was a really eye-opening, you know.
So you're saying that as a young man, like you were so focused and determined and dedicated to that being, we understand tour life and you hear stories about tour life, but you were more interested in networking and learning the intricate details of the business. What kept you so grounded and focused as a youngster?
Once you're around something, you're gonna stay focused. If you're not around it, then other things are taking your mind away. You know, you're gonna lose focus. But for me, I was always around the business. While I traveled to London, 1980, Gregory Isaac was in London, and when I got there, there was so much things happening. We all hanging out at Green Sleeve Record Shop. You know, I get to meet all the artists. Everybody's coming through. You know what I mean? I get to see artists that I'd never seen in Jamaica. Alton Ellis was living in England, Dennis Al Capone, Clint Eastwood, you know, and everybody was there, like, you know, hanging out together. Al Campbell, Linval Thompson when he's in London. And then you have this producer, John Jalaz, who always traveled back and forth and making some hits, dancehall music. So, you know, it's within that time, Gregory, he had an operation, he was down, so he was just relaxing. And it's after that time he decided to do the tour. But before the tour, I was in London, just being there, seeing how the industry start operating. So I was really staying with the game. Don't take my mind off the game, none at all. I mean, of course, we get involved in other things, but My mind was always on the business.
Hmm. And as you mentioned, being in London and staying focused and hanging around record shops, your name came up like quite often during Road to Success, the journey, when we spoke with Penthouse Records CEO Donovan Germain, and when we had a conversation with Maxi Priest, they talked about how hardworking you were and how dedicated you were, and selling records from the trunk of your car. Take us back to that defining moment of your life, and what kept you so driven.
I mean, when you see how the success of the selling of the records and how it plays on the radio and people react to the music, the energy is so good. You feel like, wow,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? You want to do more. You want to feel like, even when your friend have a hit song, it's like yours. You know what I mean? So those days it was like, if Jeremy have a hit, it's my hit. If anybody specialist or anyone have a hit, it's like my hit. So we was supporting each other. For me, I was more driven by trying to get myself involved in the successful part, like promoting artists, promoting music. And so I constantly staying focused on that. Of course, there was so much artists was there that needed the kind of people. There was most people being in the part of recording and producing and songs and being a singer, but no one was training themselves to be behind the scene managers, record company executive. We don't even now, we don't have a lot of those people. So I was more into that than going on the stage.
Mm-hmm. And Dennis Brown gave you your first U.S. work permit. What life lessons did you learn from the Crown Prince of Reggae that resonates with you to this very day?
Dennis was one of the role model that makes mistakes, correct them, do things, and he was always smiling, always keep a good energy, regardless of what happened. Dennis never really, hardly gonna see Dennis upset. So Dennis was really a person that, he embraced you regardless. Once you see you doing well or trying to do something positive, Dennis always give good support. And anyone who knows Dennis is a person that really, give you good energy. So Dennis, while we was in London, Dennis and I and myself and the gentleman who I went to London with, JB, Joseph Senior, who was a good friend of mine still. We all hang out together in Junior Delgado because Dennis and Junior Delgado spent a lot of time in England, while we were at Cash and Carry in Jamaica. So when I got to London, we still hanging out and running around together, whatever shows, studio, so it's time for Dennis was traveling to the US and, for a tour, and he said, you know what, put Robert on the list for the work permit. So that's why I got my work permit.
Nice. And I know many Jamaicans were impacted, by the death of Dennis Brown, but being so close to him and, what he did for you during that time, how were you impacted by his passing?
Even before he passed, I was really depressed of how Dennis turned out to be, because Dennis was a superstar. Dennis Brown is actually, otherwise from Ken Boothe, is the first superstar that I actually seen, the way he dressed, the way he performed, the way he do things. So even the way he was living kind of hurt me from before he passed. So, when he passed, it was sad and it was really bad, but I was trying to really talk to him, trying to see if I could really get him on a road to be, back to where he used to be. It's kind of really difficult to actually explain how the feeling of when Dennis Brown passed. It was really, really bad. It was sad. I actually stayed silent for maybe about 2 hours. I couldn't really talk for a while. Same thing for Gregory, Those two individuals are cornerstone. They put us in a line, give us future, give us what we need to get. Who wanted to learn, who didn't want to learn, just didn't learn. But Gregory Isaac used to say to me, Learn from my mistakes. Don't do as I do. You know, there's so much things out there for you. He also said that to me. He had never encouraged me to do anything that he was doing. And I spent a lot of time around him. Same thing with Dennis. You know, so when the boat passed, it was really, really, really bad for me and all of us.
Wow. At one point of your career, Robert, you also worked with Bunny Wailer's Solomonic Productions and, you know, also Maxi Priest as well. And all of this happened in England. You know, you as a youngster just basically rubbing shoulders with top Jamaican entertainers. What did that do for your confidence and in essence just, you know, for the journey that you're on? Was it like some sort of reassurance that, you know, something great can happen?
Yeah, I think for that at that time, I do think Bunny Wailer's, when I came back to Jamaica after visiting England, Gregory always talked about me at the shop. He was proud of what I was doing and how I was approaching things. So Bunny Wailer's overheard him. And as I get back to Jamaica, he called me in the office and said he wanted to talk to me and wanted me to represent his label and him himself in London. Because at the time, Bunny could have signed to Island Record, but I don't know why he didn't want to do it. So anyway, he wanted me to promote him over there. So I went to Gregory and I said, Gregory, what do you think? I don't really want to focus on Bunny. I want to focus on Gregory because Gregory was my general. So Gregory said, no, man, go on. A family same way, you know, we still have to work together. So I went back to London and started promoting Bunny Wailers. But for me, Bunny Wailers wasn't, I don't know what he wanted. It was very hard to figure him out. I wanted success and find a way how to sell more records and create a star. He was more into, I would say, more the movements of Rastafari and the movements of how his records to be sold. And it was so much that I couldn't absorb that. I couldn't deal with it. It was very difficult for me. There was too much red tapes with dealing with Bunny Wailers. And I came back, I called him up and said, you know what, this is not gonna work. So let's end it. And so I started back on my journey, what I was doing. You know, I started to sell records for myself, promoting other artists, help them sell their records, doing other things with other people. Even when I travel back and forth, I bring Maxi Priest records to New York to sell it and send a sales report to Virgin. Well, at the time it was Charisma in New York, in America. And trying to get Maxi Priest released in America. Because at the time he had like 3 albums in England and no release in the US. And so, you know, we started getting this song played on the radio. A lot of people loving Maxi Priest, you know, so it was a good energy. And at the time, I started to get the attention of the label. It was Phil Colorado who was running Charisma at the time. And I called him up and talked to him about Maxi and, you know, Maxi, you know, needs to be released here in the US and send a sales report to him. And he really liked what he was seeing and started to take a great interest into Maxi. At that time, I really was focusing on signing another talent because I started working with Trevor Sparks. And after Trevor Sparks, you know, he had diabetes, so he couldn't really perform the way he wanted to. I decided to sign Supercat. So within that time period, I was doing a lot of things. Maxi wasn't my artist, so I did what I did for Maxi because it's a favor to him, and he was my friend. And I know he appreciated because we're still close.
We're going to get to Supercat. But before we get to Supercat, though, Robert, like you kind of alluded to it, between England and the US, you know, you did many jobs from selling records to marketing and promotions, road manager, networking, and just to aid, you know, top entertainers, etc. At what point did you define what you wanted your role to be in the entertainment industry?
Actually, it's actually choose me. I didn't even choose it. You know, it's actually just said, yo, listen, this is what you're gonna do. Because I didn't want to be a manager. And I ended up being a manager. Manager role was always a role that I see it's a hard job. I was very close to Dan Taylor when he managed Gregory Isaacs. And I went to many meetings with him and learned a lot from him. And Dan Taylor said to me one day, he said, listen, you're going to get more bad than good. Anything goes wrong, you're going to get the blame. Anything goes good, everybody's going to share it. But just listen, if you're going to do this, just remember, prepare for the bad parts. So I'm like, wow, that's something that I don't really think I can handle.
Wow.
But yeah, go ahead.
So how did you were talking about, meeting Supercat. How did you connect with Supercat, and was it challenging to manage the original Dan Dada?
Actually, I met Supercat in Jamaica a lot of time at the studio with Ja Thomas. And actually, Ja Thomas used to do some production for me. And one night we were at Harjay studio, I think it was, yeah. And we were driving home and we got stopped by the police. And police said to Supercat, you have any weed on you? And him said, yeah, man. But at the time when they were ready to take the weed from Supercat, there was no weed. Them couldn't find it. So it was a big thing that night. And I sat there and watched Supercat and the police. And I'm like, you know what? This guy is a real star. The way he handled himself with the police, even though he was doing a little bit of the gangster thing. And police said, anyway, go on. So the next day, we talk about it and end up never seeing him again. And I actually was in New York. I don't remember where. Yeah, it was at VP Records. And I saw somebody call me across the street, and it was Supercat. And I went over to see him, and we start talking, and said, boy, he want to set up his own label, he want to do his own thing, and he want to look at manager, and, him and I really can do some work. And I thought about it for a minute and get back to him and decided, yeah, all right, okay, let's go. So it was a friendship that we started and as a business partner, and decided that I will manage him and take him through the parts of this industry, especially being in the US. It was not so easy. And that's where I would say my energy with Supercat was really good. I could talk to him. Both of us was in the street in Kingston. So we were both rough people. And I was not soft guy you could walk over. So I could deal with him. He wasn't difficult in the beginning because he wanted something from the game. But the more successful he gets, the worse he becomes and hard to deal with. Eventually, I decided, wow, if you don't really calm down and relax and realize where this thing is going, I don't think we're gonna work for long. I saw it coming. So, I did what I had to do. I did a lot of work promoting, and he'd get very successful, becomes a really, big name in the industry, crossover. So I thought that after my job is done, what else am I gonna do? If you gotta take himself through the rest of the part.
So with this, did this separation with Supercat cast any doubts, in your mind about still your musical journey and the direction that you were going in? Or you just, how did you deal with that period?
Yeah, it's had a lot of doubts in my mind. I didn't want to manage or work with any artists anymore. It was very difficult. And I remember what Dan Taylor said. I decided, well, you know what? I'm not gonna work with any artists. If maybe I might work with a rock artist or somebody else, but no reggae artist or dance artist. Yeah. I actually used to go to a lot of the rock concerts and the pop music concerts, and they don't even know you. And when you go inside, they say hello and they talk to you. And some of the guys who are really stars, you see them sitting down talking to people. You're like, and they say, you know who that is? And he's the biggest artist, millions of records, and he's so cool. And he talked to you. And I remember being on tour with Supertramp in Europe, and Supertramp was the biggest act. And each one of those artists was so cool, so easy to deal with, so easy to talk to. And I was like, wow, I like this. So dealing with my people and my artists, it was really different. And I was lucky to get an experience working with other, artists or touring with other people. I did 2 shows with the Police, Sting and what else did I tour? I did a show with Madness, those groups. So I was doing on and off work with those groups. So I like their world, not necessarily the discipline of it. I love my culture and I love my music, but the discipline was really something that turns me off.
I heard an interview once, and, in it you said you would tour with anyone for free just to gain the experience and learn. Why was an opportunity to garner knowledge more valuable than money at that point on your journey?
I mean, if you're in Jamaica, hanging out and just doing nothing with your friends, you're learning mostly getting street smart, streetwise, or whatever they call it. There's more to life. So if you decided when you were going to school, you wasn't getting paid to go to school. You was trying to educate yourself. So to me, going on a tour is almost, experience that you would never, ever could go to a school and learn. I wanted to learn more and see how it's all been done. If I get that and gather that in my brain, I could do way, way more in the business. And that's what I was focusing on. Because at the time I was young, I could make all my mistakes, could learn a lot at that time, I had the time. It wasn't like I was old and settled down and letting a lot of people suffer from my, not being earning, so I was really focused on learning, and I get the opportunity and I take it. Each time it comes, I take it.
Wow. Absolutely awesome. We're going to go for a quick break, and when we come back, don't go anywhere. We have lots more to talk to Robert Livingston about. You're listening to Road to Success, The Journey. But listen up, your top draw dollars, pick 2, pick 3, pick 4, hot pick, and cash pot lunchtime draws up next.
Now you can have a Heineken 0.0 before driving. The time by Heineken 0.0, great taste, zero alcohol, must be 18 years old to drink, is...
It is now 1:58.
You contribute directly to Jamaica's national development when you pay your customs duties. Let's all do our part in keeping the wheels of our economy turning. The temperature by the Jamaica Customs Agency is...
It is now 21 degrees Celsius in Ocho Rios.
When me use Island Fresh with aloe vera, it make me skin feel so much smoother. So if you want to feel better and smell fresher, use Island Fresh with aloe vera.
Manufactured by Island Products, 934-0666.
The time is...
It is now 1:59. We are standing by, so listen up to your top draw dollars. Pick 2, pick 3, pick 4, hot pick, and cash pot lunchtime draws up next. Don't forget that the hour 12 to 1 inside the Easy Skanking is brought to you by Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola Twist for Gold. Collect your gold caps for your chance to win.
Got the touch. What you got is an instant. Oh, yeah. That kind of girl. Marks the bracelets, make them know. She's the kind of woman that lets you know when she knows what you want, she won't let go. Takes you to a place of your fantasy. Walks you to the door, but she holds a key. That girl.
It is 12:59. We are standing by, so listen up to your top draw dollars. Pick 2, pick 3, pick 4, hot pick, and cash pot lunchtime draws up next.
This could be your lucky day. Get your tickets out and let the games begin.
Good afternoon. It's Thursday, September 30, 2021. I'm Deandra. Welcome to this afternoon's live Supreme Ventures game draw. Before we begin, here's a quick look at our mid-morning winning numbers. Remember, all live draws are being supervised by the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Commission and observed by the independent auditing firm PwC. And now let's put some money in your top draw. This afternoon's jackpot is now $600,000. And here are the winning top draw numbers. So good luck, and here they come. First up, we have the number 8, and here comes the number 3. The third top draw number for $600,000 is the number 10. The fourth number coming down this afternoon is 4. And the fifth and final top draw number is lucky number 12. And now let's pick up their dollars game. So I do hope you're feeling lucky this afternoon. And here are the winning dollars numbers. So let's see how well you did. First up, we have the number 29. And here comes our next number, and that's 24. The third dollars number this afternoon is the number 1. The fourth number coming down, and it's the number 7. Up next, we have the number 30. And following 30, we have the number 16. Up next, it's the number 2. And here comes our next number, and that's 9. Coming down, we have the number 5. And then it's number 31. And here comes the number 34. And we wrap things up this afternoon in our dollars game with the number 12. And now for some easy winnings with our Pick 2 games. So get those tickets out, and here we go. The first Pick 2 number this afternoon, and it's 20. The second Pick 2 number coming right up, and it's the number 15. So once again, the winning Pick 2 numbers are 20 and the number 15. Up next, you can play it 3 ways. It's our Pick 3 game. The first Pick 3 number this afternoon, and it's 8. The second Pick 3 number coming right up, and it's 1. And the third and final Pick 3 number this afternoon, and it's the number 9. So once again, the winning Pick 3 numbers for this afternoon are 8, 1, and the number 9. And it's now time to ton up your winnings. So get ready for Pick 4. The first Pick 4 number, and it's 1. The second Pick 4 number coming right up, and it's the number 5. The third Pick 4 number for this afternoon, and it's 3. And the fourth number is lucky number 6. So once again, the winning Pick 4 numbers for this afternoon are 1, 5, 3, and the number 6. It's easy for wins. So let's heat things up with our hot pick game. And this afternoon's winning hot pick number is lucky number 10. Congratulations to all our hot pick winners. Again, the winning number is 10. Get on track. Cashpot Money Trainer run, and every week it's a different mystery prize. And this week you can win $300 for every $10 winning Cashpot bet. So please board the train and collect the winnings. Let's get ready to play our Cashpot game for Thursday, September 30, 2021. You live to play it, but can you win it? Get ready to be a big Cashpot winner. Let's see what the winning Cashpot number will be. And this afternoon's winning Cashpot number is lucky number 6. Congratulations to all our Cashpot winners. Again, the winning number is 6. And it's now time for some mega winnings. So good luck. And let's see what color ball is going to be selected this afternoon. And here it comes, and the white ball has been selected. Remember, go mega 6 times per day for more chances to win big. Again, the winning Cashpot number is 6. The lucky mark is Strongman, and a white ball was selected for both Cashpot and Hot Pick. And now let's take a look at this afternoon's winning numbers. Congratulations to everyone who won. And please do join us again at 3 p.m. for more games you love to play. I'm Deandra. Have a supreme afternoon.
Hope you were a big winner. Play your favorite Supreme Ventures games every day and tune in for our live draw 6 times a day at 8:30 a.m., 10:30 a.m., 1 p.m., 3 p.m., 5 p.m., and 8:25 p.m. on this station. Supreme Ventures, making winners every day.
That was the lunchtime top draw dollars, pick 2, pick 3, pick 4, hot pick and cash pot draws. Congratulations to all of today's winners. Join us again at 3 p.m. for another chance to win in hot pick and cash pot special pot draws. Now, welcome back. If you're just joining us, it's all about Road to Success, the journey. And today we are on the journey with Robert Livingston. Now, Robert, before we went to the cash pot break, we also spoke about managing Super Cats and how difficult that was. However, you still went ahead and managed another artist. You managed Shaggy and helped him to become the superstar that he is today. Take us back to the genesis of the Robert Livingston Shaggy musical collaboration.
It's actually, it was very different. Shaggy was way disciplined and had a focus and wanted to get the job done. Of course, musically, he was ready to do whatever it takes to get there. And that was a very, very, important decision for an artist to make, especially when you know the road is going to be rough. Promoting reggae is not an easy access to the world. So Shaggy had the personality, he had the attitude, he has everything that any artist, any manager would want from an artist. In the beginning, I was skeptical of signing him because he seeks me. Mm-hmm. I didn't go looking for him. So I thought about it for about a week and then I decided to do it. So in the initial, we did a verbal agreement. If he like what I'm doing, he can sign my agreement. Then if he don't, he can go. So in a couple of months down the road, he decided to sign. And actually, Shaggy and I was like two brothers or a father and son. We were very close. We become very close. We work hard together, constantly being on it, never take a break. It was really a good experience for both of us. And I must tell you, even though Shaggy and I parted, but it was a really good energy, good work. Work ethic was there from both of us. We constantly, one of the important part of this with Shaggy, while we're on the road dealing with people, we try to build good relationship, try to show respect to others, to people out there, the hotel people, the people that have been doing promotion for us, the people who's in the industry. That's very, very important. I always try to talk to an artist to show respect to the people who do the work behind the scene, the promotion people. And a lot of artists don't even see them or respect them because sometimes they think they are just their face that's selling them. They don't think it's it's the people behind the scene actually help promote them. So Shaggy was very focused on understanding what I was trying to tell him. And he learns a lot. He makes some mistakes, but we all do. I made a lot too. Mm-hmm. But that collaboration was, there's so much to talk about.
As you mentioned, the behind the scenes, it's like behind every successful artist is a great manager and a solid team. You made Super Cats and Shaggy into international stars. From your experience, what would you say are some of the key factors to transform an entertainer into a superstar?
You have to know their strength and what they're capable of doing, especially in the entertainment, whether it's a performance or it's going to be their personality. Of course, try to find where their music could play mostly, if it's going to be urban, crossover, top 40. For me, Super Cat had that energy, that street vibes. He was Mr. Smooth, gangster, street artist. And of course, Cat had a lot of nice ways about him that people likes him too. I just didn't think he had the experience to learn more of what he needed to do. Now he does, because we speak about things. But Cat had a lot to offer to the urban market, and that's what I try to do with him. I promote him there, a collaboration with Heavy D. did a lot of work behind the scene how to get him into the crossover market, and it works. And he was there with me, like constantly, giving me a rough time to make decision, but eventually come on board. With Shaggy, it was almost the same thing. Shaggy now more like, okay, let's go. What needs to be done? Let's get it done. And if he get tired and get lazy, I'll just, talk to him, cheer him up, get him ready. So the strength of an artist is where you have to find out where their weaknesses and their strength is, and where you can, and the things that you got to work on to make sure the promotion and the people who at the label wants to promote them. Because if the label don't like their artists or see the energy with the artists, they're not going to promote them.
How would you, like you've given us now, you had two very different entertainers that you made into megastars. How would you describe your management style rather?
I never called myself a good manager. I thought I was a marketing person. I think about the marketing and how I can get my artists out there. I have to get rough. I have to get really smooth. I was always nice to the people behind the scene and be cool with them. But there's people out there who I have to get really rough with. And I have the personality that I could be nice and I could be rough. For me, you can't be too nice as a manager. You have to have some edge around it. You have to have, for me, growing up in the street of Kingston, that was a university that gave me that strength, that energy, that streetwise, knowledge to face the world. So, out there in the battlefield, you're going to face the good, bad, and the ugly. You got to prepare for all of them, So for me, my managerial skill was more, I would say, I get the experience from learning what was there in the initial start of my career and understand the business, understand what I need to do, how I need to do it, relationship with people. Always remember that everyone who works on your team is a part of your management, not just yourself. The whole team out there in the world that works for you on a daily, you should have to give each one of them respect and share the success with them. Otherwise you're going to be left alone. So that was something that I really focus on.
Shaggy's diamond selling album Hot Shot was groundbreaking to say the least, and for many reasons. Apart from its success, it was not the typical sound expected out of Jamaica. You being linked to like D Brown and Gregory Isaacs, how did your colleagues within the industry respond to Hot Shot prior to its success, especially, on the heels of the entire Virgin Records saga?
One thing we forgot about is that Jamaica had made so many great songs. If you listen to John Holt, Bob Andy, all the people, Jimmy Cliff, many rivers to cross, we create a lot of great songs. There was an authentic hardcore reggae. There were just songs, great songs. So for me, listening to music, period, and like, okay, we are trying to do the same thing. I'm promoting Jamaica music. So I'm promoting Jamaica artists. So if I need to make songs for people to enjoy and have fun with, I'm going to do that. Because it's just like somebody say Jamaica song has to be this way or have to be that way. No. If you listen to Dennis Brown, Lovers Found Its Way, what would you call that? In our hearts today. You have many different recording that was done in Jamaica, even Bob Marley, so it's like our music and our people are so creative. We have so much talent and so much things there that we could do. And for me, I was just trying to face the world and try to figure out what's the world want from us or expect from us and give it to them. Yeah, there are certain things I wouldn't do, I won't do. But when it come on to music, I was just thinking how to get to the mind of the people, how to get out there more than just servicing my local market. A lot of people was doing that already. A whole heap of people were just making songs for the street, doing things for the street. That was loaded. A lot of us would be piled up in there same way and none of us getting out there. For me, I wanted to change that.
Wow. Now, your journey with Super Cats and Shaggy covers both success and ends in separation. What life lessons did you learn from these two megastars that you helped to create?
The lesson that I learned from that is you're busy trying to make people happy and comfortable, and you're not sure what they will make them happy or what make them comfortable or be, I would say, accepted that they're being treated fairly, or you're busy trying hard to make that. Myself, spend a lot of time on that. I take hits, I take losses because I want to make sure the artist is comfortable and all right and feel like, he's getting treated good. So I spend a lot of time on that. What I learned from that, it's like, you got to try to figure out what they want first before you even start to do, because what you're trying to do, maybe that's not what they're after or what they want. And sometimes they don't speak about their gripe or the problem they're having with you until one day you hear it from someone else or something happened. Supercat and I didn't speak for 21 years.
Wow.
And the first day we got to speak, he said to me, boy, he apologized for everything. 21 years we hadn't spoken. The whole time I was with Shaggy, Supercat never talked to me. And
wow.
One day he called me. He went to my studio in Jamaica and did a rehearsal there. And he went to the office and said, where's Livingston? I want to talk to him. And my assistant called me and I said, no, I'm not in the mood to talk to Cat right now. And he called for a year. And then I decided to talk to him. Him and I are very close now. We're good friends. Him call me every week to check up on me to make sure I'm all right. Talk to me about the success and what I did for him and how he appreciate me. 21 years it take for him to say that to me. And I asked him, did you really say that I robbed you? And he said, that's what people were telling him. I said, look into your life and tell me the truth. If you see any discrepancy within your royalties or anything, because I didn't control your money. I didn't control your royalties. How would I rob you? So he apologized. With Shaggy, I was like Shaggy was like a part of my family. We were close. Mm-hmm. And it hurts me till today to see how Shaggy and I don't even talk. It's something that I can't get over that. When I mean close, we were close. Family. And I guess maybe, deep down, something was there from day one. You just don't cut off people like that for something that you'll find a reason. So something is there that I don't know. Hopefully one day I'll find out. But Shaggy is a person that I respect and respect his work ethic, respect what he contributed to the industry. And, we had a great time. We had a great work. So I can't be upset at him for the work that we've done. It's a great, great, great achievement. I have many plaques. These plaques on my wall behind me, that's a Shaggy wall. I have many more walls in my house. This is just one of them. Mm-hmm. And I kept this one because this is a Shaggy corner. And that's why I'm doing the interview from here, because this is one of my biggest success. And, the work that we did, we're going to bear fruit from it for the rest of our lives. So, it's something that I really dearly to my heart. I appreciate it.
Wow. Listening to you speak now, Robert, do you feel like this is something that you will do again? Take up an artist and, go through the process all over. When you look at, how relationships ended, even though there are spectacular and legendary moments, would you do it all over again?
Yes. You know what? It's like when you're married and you said, I divorced, I won't marry again. And you end up married again. It's like you had the bad times in the relationship and the good time. One of the things that I really would like from Mr. Burrell is to look in my face one day and said, you did this wrong. And this is what happened. I deserve that from him. We had a great run, a great relationship. I think I did well for him. And I don't think any other manager would have done what I did with Shaggy. Reason being, I was a person who know how to hustle in the game. Maybe there were other people, but when you know your culture, know your people, know what you need to do, how to build that fusion. I was groomed, I was trained for what I did with Shaggy. From the experience growing up, coming back, and I call on a dear friend of mine, Maxi Priest, who I really appreciate Maxi, and I love Maxi to death. You know, Maxi is like family. When I call him Maxi, Maxi said, come. You know, he opened his door and said, yo, come in, whatever you want. And, you know, so I really never managed Maxi, but we were friends from that time till now. I felt like I was a manager anyway, because we were so close, talk about everything, help him out with whatever he needs. I hope Shaggy appreciate Maxi the way how I appreciate Maxi. Of course, you know, it's something that everyone in this industry needs to pay attention to. Relationship. If you have a problem with something, call a meeting. We don't have meetings that much as Jamaicans. We like to vibes and build bad energy instead of doing meetings, talk about things, you know?
Mm-hmm. Do you feel like as a manager going forward, because you're now doing some work with Christopher Martin, that having that wealth of experience and dealing with, you know, entertainers, top mega stars at the peak of their game, that there are things that you will tweak going forward as it relates to the manager entertainer relationship?
Yes, it's going to be always areas that you have to tweak and work on. I never write a script for this business. I always sit down and look at what I need to do and get it done. And there's always the people that you have to call on who have more experience in social media. There's always new things that I never trained for. So it's always going to be a way how you got to approach everything. For Christopher Martin, he had built a career in the ethnic market. And for me now to see where I could help him to grow to become a more international artist. Of course, it might be challenging because, of course, when he get used to doing what he was doing or doing what he's doing, it's going to be difficult to say, okay, let's take the chance to go to another level. It's a risk. It can never happen. But for me, Christopher is like my son. He's there. He's been at Big Yard for many years and keep himself recording. You know, he listened to me a lot. I used to been saying things to him in and out. I never got a chance to really help him the way I wanted. At the time I had Shaggy. So every so often I, you know, step in and do things for him to try to make sure I encourage him, give him a lot of strength. And he's successful in his own little world, you know. So you got to give him that. He's been holding up, and you know,
definitely.
He has a good life. He's take care of himself, take care of his family. You know, Chris, a decent youth in lots of ways, you know. And there's more for him, and I'm gonna try my best to see what I can do if he follows what we're putting out
Can
there for
accomplish.
him.
Nice. Now, you have traveled extensively and could have taken, you know, your popular Big Yard studio anywhere in the world, but it sits right here in Jamaica. Why?
Of course, I looked at many cities in the world where I could live. I'm a resident of many countries, cities of maybe about 2 or 3. Jamaica to me gave me something, and I wanted to make sure that I don't forget that. And of course, if the whole world looked at the big producer, myself, Specialist Dylan, who's a very close friend of mine, big up Specialist anyway, and big up Donovan Jeremy, and so those people are people that I really go down on the ground with, work together with, and you know, and big up Light Evans and JB and all the people that I started with, Lego, Donnie Courtney, you know. Of course, Big Yard Studio would be, I started it in New York. And, you know, one day I said to Shaggy that, you know what, we need to set up a location in Jamaica now. It's time. And, you know, he blew it off. He never really interested. And then I decided to start to do it because to me, I just had a foundation there. when all of this is over and the hype in foreign countries are blow off, Jamaica gonna be there for you. And always, if the people in Jamaica or around the world see us as a big managers, producer, we live abroad, we have everything abroad, I'm not gonna say nothing about Jamaica. You know what I mean? So we coming back there, setting up a studio, giving, you know, a little man can see me up on the road, ask me 2 things, and I share my ideas with anybody. I talk to anyone, and I share anything with anyone. So to me, being in Jamaica is a value to the country. For us to come back there and set up a place like Big Yard. And if you notice, I always try to keep it up, keep it painted, keep it looking good, keep the energy. Yeah, I'm not the best of the marketing for my studio because I don't really do the marketing on my label or the studio. I'm more focused on the artists. So, you know, it's important to have a foundation in the country and, you know, give back, especially the knowledge. And the more strength we have musically and in the industry down there, if everyone built a great foundation there from the experience we get around the world, it's good for the country and the music industry.
Absolutely. Looking at the entertainment industry today, do you pinpoint or have you identified anyone who could be the next megastar?
I mean, yeah, Christopher Martin is one of those artists, and I see a few others. I won't call their names, but there's a few, and Jamaican always have talent non-stop. For me, yeah, there's a lot of talent there. People from actors to singers to players of instruments. Jamaica full of talent. And it's just hard to mold them or to get them to understand what it is they need to do. But, you know, I'm going to see if I can, you know, give my experience to a few, even if I don't manage them. You know, I talk to a lot of artists and try to guide them and give them direction. It's very difficult because the diaspora market supports them and give them an energy. And you going in trying to make it another way, it's going to be hard. It's best to find. I think Shaggy gave me his best time because he wasn't an established artist. He wasn't big. So, you know, and at the time he was listening. The bigger he gets, it's get harder. But, you know, when you get someone that really want it and have the energy and young and ready to go, it's more better than when you have someone that established.
Now, the success, the struggles, the good times, the bad times, reflecting on your life, is there anything you would have done differently? Yeah,
lots. I would have really focused and I would have built my headquarters from the get-go in Jamaica. Of course, I wouldn't have so much access to the world, but the team of people who outside the world who you work with, they move around with different people. If you build a good, strong team out of Jamaica and they're loyal, they will stay with you. So that's one of my things that I would have approached differently. Of course, there's many decisions that I made on behalf of my artists and myself. Yeah, it's after the fact, but you know, you never know before you did it. It's after the fact. So, but yeah, they say you mustn't regret, but at least there's times you could reflect and think, yeah, I could have done that differently.
And what do you find most rewarding about your role as a father?
Yeah, being successful and trying to make sure, give my kids what they would like to get, education, have a good life, you know. Don't let them go through struggles or being poor, need something and cannot get it. So that's what's me. And they learn from my life experience. Sometimes they see more and learn more than I thought they were, you know. Yes, a lot of times I spend away from them, not being there as a father, take them to football games and being there. But I see a lot of dads who been there for their kids every day, but they cannot give them what they need. And these days, kids, they want things. They want nice clothes. They want to go to school, dress up looking nice and, you know, get books and get computers. all of those things, tuition, trying to get them into the right school. If you don't have money these days, your kids can't even get educated.
And finally, what advice would you give to young and aspiring entertainers on the journey to stardom and hungry for success?
Pay attention to songs. Pay attention to making good songs. Pay attention to the market that you would want to focus on. You want to be hardcore and then expect to get crossover pop success, certain level. You got to focus on, if that's the genre you choose, focus on it, spend time, master your craft, be grateful, build good relationship, be nice to the people behind the scene who works hard for you, and pay people. Don't expect all the money should come in your pocket. There's people out there who thinks once they're on the stage, all the money belongs to them. What about the people behind the scene?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of artists don't like to pay people for their work. They think everybody should just come and be nice to them and give them everything that they, oh, I'm the star. Everybody should be good and nice to me. No. So, it's something that they need to make sure they understand that. They get way better result when they take care of their team.
Wow, what a solid note to end on. And you have given us so many gems throughout this conversation. Thank you so much, Robert Livingston, CEO of Big Yard Music Group, artist manager, producer, and industry heavyweight.
Thank you very much.
It was indeed a pleasure. Robert Livingston, the song that you're listening to right now, You Will Never Find a Love Like Mine, courtesy of Christopher Martin. Robert Livingston hands is all over this production.
We were nothing. If you think that it's that easy, think again. If you let me get over you, you're the one that's gonna lose out. You'll never find a love like mine.
Rohan Johnson from Atlas Ocheria says, very nice and interesting and informative interview. Thank you so much.
Don't be patient, baby, 'cause you'll never find a love like mine.
This one says, big up to the man, enough things him go through. Tell him to keep up the good work.
No matter where you
just know that everything happened for a reason. Samakan from Waterhouse said that.
thinking of all that we've been through.
This one says, shout out to all the listeners from across the world locked in. Pick up to Robert Livingston. It's Ricardo Porteous in Glengoff.
You were not around with your perfume.
This one says, wow, consistent and delightful interview coming from Carrie.
How did we come to this small girl? You'll never find a love like
Martha the Barber and August Stone say, boy, you really know how to find the superstars. Big up to Mr. Robert Livingston.
Don't be hasty. Be patient, baby. 'Cause you'll never find a love like mine. No matter where you go.
Stick and stay. See you on the flip side of this break.
With a CLK mortgage, home ownership is a breeze. Get rates as low as 6.99% and up to 4. The time by CLK is...
It is now 1:33.
Did you know that 85% of brain growth occurs during the first 5 years? Alacta Plus is the only formulation with 35 important